Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make my gluten-free chicken and dumplings. There are basically two types of dumplings, those that are similar to a really soft biscuit and those that are like little squares of noodles. These are the noodle type, the southern style. Think Cracker Barrel if you've ever had theirs. Every time I fix this for my husband and I, we just ooh and ah at how good it is and how flavorful, and how the dumplings are like little pillows of heaven that nearly melt in your mouth. It's such a great meal to make on a cold winter's day, so let's get into it and I'll show you how to make it. There are a couple ways to approach this, but this is what I found to be the quickest and most flavorful. I've got my Instant Pot here and I'm adding a rotisserie chicken to it. You can also do this on the stovetop, and I've got all of that info in my recipe post on the blog. Is it just me, or have rotisserie chickens really shrunk over the past several years? It's like they get smaller and smaller by the day. Anyway, I'm adding 2 boxes, which is 64 ounces or 1.8 liters of chicken stock, and I'm going to put the lid on and set it to pressure cook on high for 30 minutes. The reason I do this with the chicken in there is because I want all the flavor from that rotisserie chicken to infuse as much as possible in the boxed chicken stock. I could just boil the stock separately and then shred the chicken, and you can do that and it would be even quicker. But pressure cooking them together just adds so much more flavor to it without needing to do a whole lot of other things. Okay, while that's going on, we'll go ahead and make the dumplings. I've got a large bowl with 2 cups or 280 grams of Kim's gluten-free all-purpose flour blend, and I'm adding to that a half a teaspoon each of baking powder and salt, and we'll just whisk that up really quick. And now I've got 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of softened butter, and I'm just going to go in with my clean hands and basically just rub the butter in to the dry ingredients until it's fully incorporated. And it looks like this, somewhat of a shaggy mix. Now I'll add in almost all of the milk. I've measured out a cup or 240 milliliters of whole milk, but I may or may not need all of this depending on the climate, the situation here right now. It is very humid here right now, so I may not need all of it. I'm looking to make the dough that's just a little tacky but not really sticky at all. Okay, this looks perfect, so I'm just going to stop right here on adding any more milk. I'll hold this milk aside though, just in case, and I'll just knead this briefly until it's smooth and I make sure that I don't need any more milk. Alright, this looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and roll this out just like you would a pie crust until it's relatively thin. I would say about 1/8 of an inch thick, because these are going to plump up in the liquid. I'm just going to take my pastry wheel here. You could use a pizza cutter or just a really sharp knife and cut strips one way and then go back the other way to make little squares. And that's all there is to the dumplings. Okay, let's check on the chicken. The pressure was released naturally, and I'm just going to take out the chicken now. It's really falling apart. I'll just put it on a plate and allow it to cool enough for me to handle it and pick the chicken off the bones completely. So what I'll do while that's happening is switch my Instant Pot to the saute button on high, and that'll get the liquid boiling, and then I'll drop the dumplings in. I like to drop them in somewhat individually because otherwise they may stick together. Alrighty, I've got all of my chicken pulled off the bone. So I'll add this in and I'll stir it all together. And I've made a slurry with 1/3 a cup or 30 grams of cornstarch and 1 cup or 240 milliliters of milk, but you can also use water. I just put it in my mason jar, put the lid on, and shook it up. And I'll pour that right in and allow it to come back up to a boil and let it boil for at least a minute so the cornstarch can fully activate. And if you feel you still need it a little creamier and a little thicker, you can either do another slurry, another cornstarch slurry, or you can add a little more milk. I'm just going to add the milk that was left over from making the dumplings because it's pretty thick enough and I just want a little more creaminess to this. And that's all there is to it, you guys. This gluten-free chicken and dumplings recipe just gets better and better with time. The first day, it's not quite as creamy. It's more like a soup. And then you go to this. The second day, the dumplings have kind of broken up a little bit into little balls, little pieces, and they are just like pillows of heaven. I am telling you, we eat this for like 3 or 4 days straight. Seriously. I'm like, we're having chicken and dumplings again for dinner, and my husband is not mad about it. So I hope you get a chance to make this, and I hope you enjoy it.